Mr. Yusmati Yusuf, Malaysia has been a very critical voice, a very important voice in the Islamic world, expressing concerns over the Israel-Palestinian conflict and the ongoing war. What justifies your position? What is Malaysia's major concern as a key member of the Islamic world and this region?
For Malaysia, Palestinian issues always close to our heart. When I say close to our heart, not only at the political level, but it's also at a grassroots level, at a community level. And for the last 60 years, I think since Prime Minister Abdul Rahman, the #1 Prime Minister, uh, we always have a consistent view. And in fact, I have to say, during Anwar Ibrahim, we have most, I would say, stronger view, because looking at the way he navigate the issue, the way he tried to create solidarity among the Islamic countries, I think the issues somehow seems to be more prominent at the international level during Anwar Ibrahim's time.
There were reportedly pressure on the Malaysian government to not be so vocal and critical of Israel. Is that something you can confirm, especially from the Western quarters, the America namely?
Yes, in fact, during the recent parliamentary session, the Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim make it public that he received a strong notices. In fact, he mentioned 3 times from the Washington, questioning Malaysian stance. But knowing Malaysian foreign policy, this for the first time, Washington give notices and repeated notice more than 3 times.
What was the notice about? Can you explain our viewers?
Okay. Basically, their strong concern is about Malaysian stance on Hamas. So, of course, Anwar Ibrahim consistently say, look, Hamas is a legitimate organization who won election through democratic process. That was how he started his stance. And of course, if you see the previous prime minister, at least the recent one, Mahathir and Mohidin Yassin, we just exposed their letter to President's the former Prime Minister of Palestine. We found Mahathir classified Hamas as terrorists, and also Mohidin Yassin. So of course, I think when Anwar has different stance on Hamas, it gives concern and strong concern to Washington.
Why would you not call Hamas a terrorist organization? They behead people, they kill people in horrific fashion. You've seen what happened on the October 7th. Won't you classify them as acts of terrorism?
Yeah, if you take purely on the act, what you mentioned just now, of course, you may open to discussion whether they're terrorists or not. But we are looking at from the parameters, it is an elected, a democratically elected organization in Gaza, and which is it's not even covering all parts of Palestine. So this is the will of the people in Gaza who elected Hamas democratically and consistently. So I think that's the choice of the people, which I think any government of the world have to respect certain democratic determinations of any country. So I think that's make us difference compared to many other organizations. That's why, for me, why people didn't call the Israel Zionist government as terrorists, because they did the same for the last, I mean, more than what, 50 years, 40 years. So I think we must have a standard standard assessment when we deal with any countries when it comes to act of terrorist or act of crime.
Malaysia is a very key voice in the Islamic world. Why do you support the Palestinian cause and criticize Israel and refuse to have relations with it? Is it purely because of religious reasons, or do you empathize the people for their nationalist aspirations? I'm trying to understand the rationale for your very strong support for the Palestinian cause.
Historically, and it's proven factually, we believe that what is happening in that part of the world is just an act of dispossession of land, that as a start. And number two, of course, the violations of human rights. Of course, Malaysian stance is very much consistent to the international values with law. But of course, I don't want to rule out. I know Malaysia being a Muslim majority country, there are people who support or agree or disagree on Palestinian issue based on religious sentiment. But where I come from, where I think Prime Minister Anwar come from, where I think the previous Prime Minister of the country come from, I think is purely on the issue of violations of human rights, violation of international law.